This is Feed Your Mind, and so there's new evidence about the ISS space station that might disturb you. Now, this new information came out courtesy of Bro Sanchez during this debate with FTFE, where I believe Bro Sanchez easily won this debate. It was moderated by Jaronism. I'll leave a link for it in the comment section and description box. The debate's about a 4-hour long broadcast, but the debate portion is only about an hour, so you can just check out the debate part if you want, and the rest is taking calls and stuff. But basically, in this debate, well, what came out about the space station, I'm going to cover real quick in this video as a proof, as a new FE proof. And basically, so many people have confirmed the ISS as far as some type of object flying around in the sky. According to the ISS tracker, you can go out at a specific location and expect to see what they're saying is an ISS transit, and it will be predicted, when it's going to fly overhead. And many people have confirmed this, like Jaronism and Res Rhetoric and many others have filmed it, usually in front of the moon. And so I analyzed what that might be in another video, but this new information coming out really makes you question if anyone is even on it, or if there is, who's on it. Because basically now they're saying the ISS is in free fall, in orbit around the Earth. So what they show as gravity, they're trying to show people just floating around. That's how they like to say you're in outer space. They teach you as a kid, like, oh, you just start floating around. So they like to show you that a lot. But what that is actually a free fall, which is what they call orbit. But before they get onto this ISS, they show people training in what they call a vomit comet. They call it a vomit comet because what this is basically a plane that goes to high altitude and then free falls, usually for about 30 seconds. And in that 30 seconds, people can experience weightlessness. This is pretty much what the celebrities have been doing when they go to outer space, like Jeff Bezos and William Shatner. They just go to high altitude and then free fall, and then people see them floating, and the general public thinks right away, oh, that's outer space, but really they're just free falling. Now, the thing about that free fall is, well, like I said, they call this thing the vomit comet because people have lost their food many times doing this practice, to train for it. And that's because, with that weightlessness part, which can affect people's stomachs, and they can become nauseated, and it's hard to hold down any foods and liquids because of the 0G part of that flight. So here's the thing. What's the longest time has anyone been in the space station? Well, they're saying that record was just made in March of 2022 with 355 days accomplished by 2 alleged astronauts. So they hold the record now, and that's almost a year now that they were allegedly in the ISS. So ask yourself, how can someone endure free falling for that long of a period of time? Because we see in the ISS footage, we see them floating around. So yeah, they're saying it's a pressurized cabin, but no, we see them floating around, and it takes them a lot to use the bathroom and stuff, and we see them show us how liquid floats around. And so yeah, they're being said to be in a 0G type atmosphere. How can their body endure being in that with free falling, and how could their body fluids function? How could it be any different than being in that vomit comet for like a year straight? Is that even humanly possible is the question. And the debate even went as far as to say, like, maybe it's time to get some doctors on and really analyze this question and try to figure out, like, is that humanly possible to be in a state of free fall for that long, even hours at a time, let alone like 355 days or a year. What about weeks or months or even hours? Could someone withstand being in a free fall state of where it's hard to hold fluids down, and it's hard to, your stomach is just acting funny because it's, how can you get used to that? It doesn't matter how much training you have, it's like, that just seems to be an interesting point, with how would the body be able to function properly being in a state of free fall for that long. And that was the point. I think I think a lot of people were kind of surprised how challenging it was to answer that question when Bro Sanchez brought that up. So there was other things. They went back and forth on other things like, the ISS green screens, and there's all types of other bloopers and things that debunk the ISS as well. I've covered those and those topics in other videos, so you can go back and check that out. Some of the other information though they did cover was like the moon. How they said they went to the moon back in the late 60s. Basically, how were they able to communicate back and forth? Because the communication tech of that time wasn't that advanced. So how was their signal strong enough to communicate clearly back and forth like that, like they were showing, and also like with the lunar module, how was that able to withstand all the fluctuations of temperature, especially to get back from the moon in that module. How was that thing able to get through a Van Allen belt? And, even like how were the people inside able to withstand the swings in temperature? Because it gets extremely cold. We're not talking about like -10. We're talking about fluctuations dramatically. I don't remember exactly the fluctuations. I've calculated that before. Wasn't it like 455 degrees negative and positive, like swings, like extremely hot and then extremely cold, depending on, the situation and the time and stuff. But yeah, like basically how could that module survive all that, and how could the people inside of that module survive that? And then, so basically, like I said, Bro Sanchez pretty much destroyed FTFE in this debate. Like I said, you can check it out. His only real point that FTFE was trying to stand on was this thing where he was saying about the pendulum, how he thinks that proves Earth's rotation. And this is the problem with a lot of Globers, is that they think just because they have this experiment, they think that would prove, just because they think it's Earth rotation, doesn't mean it couldn't just as easily be the atmosphere, or, how we see the sun circling around and we see the stars circling around. So this 15-degree rotation that they're trying to act like they can determine, if it even determines that could be a number of things. It doesn't just conclude that that's the Earth's rotation just because they can do an experiment and allegedly determine 15-degree rotation. That doesn't mean it's the Earth rotating. It could just as easily be other explanations like the atmosphere or the ether, or, something to do with the celestial objects rotating above. So I don't know what's so hard to figure out that's not a conclusive experiment to determine their side. So yeah, anyways, I don't really think FTFE had much other points really that stood out that I can remember. I mean, I think it was pretty clear that Bro Sanchez won that debate, but like I said, you can check it out for yourself and decide. I'll leave the link. I'll also leave a link if you want to support this channel. I got a new video that I'm trying to get released to the public. It's on my Patreon page right now. I just need 2 new Patreons. You can sign up for as little as $1 and watch the video right away. It's on my secret videos page, and we just need 2 new Patreons to sign up and watch that video, and then I'll get it released here on Feed Your Mind 2 for everybody to watch. We just need that support so that I can continue to put more videos out, because they try to hide content that came up in the debate as well. They do try to hide this topic. That's why I need listener support, because to spend time doing these documentary style videos is going to require listener support, just so that we can continue to put out quality content and not just these podcast style videos. We need to get because the video that I need to get out, it's done already. You can watch it right away. It has visuals and footage and all types of stuff in that video, so it's well presented. We need to get those types of videos out as well. So if we can get just 2 new Patreons to watch that video, I can get the video out for everybody. So thanks for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This has been Future Mind signing off.